Hey team, welcome back. After class today, I realized it might be a good idea to show you how you can take some of these files that I've created for you to help with the projects and actually move some of your ideas into these files. This Xcode project, which you can see in front of you here, you can download it from the URL below. It has a bunch of things that are built into it. One is the user's location is shown on the map. So instead of having to follow my instructions for adding that to your working project, this template has that working already. It also has some of the sorting and filtering capabilities that I've shown in other How Do I tutorial. But in this example app, it just shows locations from our list that we collected from class. You have come up with some really neat app ideas showing locations of different types all over the place. And you've created some custom classes that you now want to display within the app and use to interact with the user, sort based on location, but you're all doing something different. And so what I have here are some example files that you might have for your project that are a little different from my example code. So for example, this student has created their own class that is a restaurant location. It uses the location and title of my map location, but this student added a rating and a food type that might be relevant for a restaurant app. The student has also made a list of items using this class. And let's say this student wants to bring this list into this project. It doesn't make sense to actually just paste this code into some of these files. You can see that I have a class locations list, which is the one we've been working on. But because of the work that I've done for you building this template, if you simply paste over or paste into these files directly, you're going to undo some of the changes that I've made. So we want to be a little more careful about how we bring these files into this project so that piece by piece we can turn the project that I've given you in these template files into the project that this student actually imagines, a list of restaurants, their ratings, and finding the ones that are closest to your particular location. Okay, so let's get to work. Let's get to moving the files over. The first thing that I'll show you is I have these two files in the project in the other directory. This might be the inside of a playground where you've written some of these files. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take these two files and just drag them into the directory of this project. When you do this, you want to make sure that you have copy items if needed selected, because you actually want to bring these files into the project itself. Now that I have my restaurant location defined and my list of locations, it's time to bring this list into the app. Let's run the app so that we can see the current version of what it looks like. I'm going to move this onto an iPhone 11, which has the ability to show the user's location. It also has a bit of a smaller screen so that it's something that you could actually test on somebody's device. Let's run it and take a look. All right, so here is our full list. This is the default app as it exists when you just download it from the website and run it. And you can see that there's a list here of all those items. It also has a button that will allow you to sort by distance of the user. And I also have this real-time updating with a location that's being simulated on the phone. If you go to Features and Location, you can simulate different things happening on the phone. So this right now is simulating a city run, and you can see that the location is constantly changing as you would expect for someone who is on a run. We can also set this using a custom location to put this at school. So if I change the location, you can see that that location has updated here. And if I again hit the sort by distance, that brings us straight to school. If I click on school, it shows the neighborhood around SSIS. If I hold down Shift, I can zoom in and you can actually see exactly where I am on campus by that blue dot that's shown on the screen. It's a little bit off from reality because I'm not in the middle of the field, but it doesn't really matter. So close enough. This is what the app does right now out of the box. I now want this to be using the location list that I have now imported into this project. The template app is loading these locations using this app settings object you can see inside the settings.swift file. And you can see that this is, has some information stored in it. The current location, which is the location that is selected out of that list. We have a list of locations, which right now is a list of map locations, and I'm setting that equal to location list all, which is in this file, location list all. It's also getting the location of the user's phone, which just to start is set to the first location in that list. We want to switch this to instead use restaurant location and restaurant locations as the objects. I'm going to change this to be restaurant location. And I'm going to change this list to be this location list in my new file, which has all the restaurants in it. And actually, just to make it so that it's a little bit easier to tell the difference, I'm going to call this restaurant list. So over here, I will call this restaurant list. And I'm going to use the same idea up here in these settings. So that's the only change that I have made. Now I'm getting this error because it says it cannot convert value of type restaurant location to specifies type map location, but this is still listed as a map location, which is the old type. So let me change this into a restaurant location. My error disappears. Let's run the code. Okay, now I'm getting some errors. Now what's kind of interesting about these errors is they are telling me exactly where I need to fix things within this template app. So if I go here, this is saying cannot convert value of type restaurant location to expected argument type map location. So that's showing up up here, and that's simply because if I go to this, inside the location cell, it's saying that it's expecting a map location, but now I've turned this into a restaurant location. So let's go to location cell, and you might be able to predict how to fix this error. Let's change this into a restaurant location. Let's try it again. Okay, and now this is actually giving me the same message, but this time it's inside location detail. So let's go to location detail, where we again have this issue popping up, and let's change this to a restaurant location. Okay, next sort of thing, this is now telling us about MapView isn't so happy about this change. So we'll go to our project folder, we'll go to the MapView file, and we can again see that this is expecting a restaurant location. And I'm going to continue going through and fixing these things. It's actually a little interesting tour through the files of this template. You've seen we've updated the different SwiftUI views. Now we're updating the map view, which is part of this. Okay, let's see if this is it. One more place right here. So map annotation. So we'll go to map annotation, which again still has map location in there. So we have restaurant location. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Restaurant location. Restaurant location. And this time it's working. All right, and now we just have our restaurants in here. If I select one of these, it's still showing the same kind of thing, but now it's limited to the restaurants. And you can see that this is my phone located at school. I can sort by distance to the user, and now these locations are listed in order of their distance from the user. Okay, the next thing that I want to show you, and this was something that a few of you were asking about, is how do you add a property, something else beyond just the basic map location? Like, that's the advantage of making your own class. So I would love to be able to show the rating of the restaurant and add this maybe to the list. So I'm going to go to Content View, and the location cell is where I am setting that list of restaurants. And right now this is just showing the text, the location, title, but maybe I want to add something else. Maybe I want to show the location's title and also the rating. So in addition to having the title, now I want to include the rating in that list. Let's run it and see how it works. All right. So I'm not sure that's the best way to show this, but I'm just trying to give you an example of how you might go about adding these additional features into your SwiftUI view. You are all the designers. I'm just showing you some basics, and my hope is that you will run with this and make some really neat stuff. Let's add one other thing. I have this location detail. Let's say that instead of showing the detail, I want to show the food type. And now if I select something, you can see what kind of cuisine it is. And so all of the work that you have done to make your own views of the different elements of this is where you will take those designs, take those ideas of how you're showing the information in your Swift playgrounds, and you're going to move them into this content view, because this is where we're defining all the elements of the app. But again, you want to be very careful. You don't want to just paste everything from that other file into this one. You want to be very deliberate about the changes that you make. So you can see that I have a VStack here that has the text of the cuisine, the map view, and then it has another piece of text. If you have put together a SwiftUI element, a set of specific elements to show something, move that code into the VStack piece by piece and test each part as you move them in. I hope this helps you understand how to use this new tool that I've made available to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you make with it. Good luck. See you next time.